Last time on the Untitled Weekly Show.
Today.
We've all had that feeling where you wake up from a dream and you're like, holy crap, this would be like the greatest thing ever. I just need to remember it. And then you forget it 2 minutes later. You want to buy onto it?
I don't write horror films, but my dreams are almost always, if I turn them into films, they're horror films.
Connor?
Yeah.
I think I actually have a dream very similar to yours. No. So, in this dream, instead of it being a mansion, it was a hotel.
Okay.
Which in my mind makes it infinitely creepier. I don't know why, but large hotels, especially if they haven't been quite always up to date, they're a little rustic, but a little rustic and janky, but not in a charming way. Anyway, this hotel, you get there, and in my dream, I remember getting there with a bunch of people, and there was only one employee in this massive hotel. And this one employee, I remember him very specifically because he was always dressed like a bellhop, and he was always really, really happy, uncomfortably happy, smiling all the time.
Smiling all the time.
Yeah, but a really creepy smile where it was a
non-stop all the time.
Yes, he always had that uncanny ability of whenever you needed him, he was right there, right behind you almost, it just popped out of nowhere. And everything was great until someone complained about the service. And it was a small complaint. And that's when that smile disappeared. Basically, the rules of this hotel was this guy was somehow enchanted to create the perfect hotel experience and made sure that nobody...
That's what he's gonna look like.
God, that was creepy.
He's gonna unhinge his jaw and shed his exoskeleton.
He was basically given the task of to make sure that nobody was miserable or nobody was unhappy. Everyone would be happy in this hotel. However, the easiest way he apparently found out how to do that is if anyone ever complained, he'd just kill them.
Oh, what a guy.
So that was the thing. You couldn't even show fear when this happened. Because if you showed fear, that's a negative emotion and an unpleasant experience in the hotel. So then he'd go for you. And all I remember is hiding throughout the maze-like halls of this hotel. If you've ever gotten lost in a large hotel, these hotels can be literal mazes at times. Mm-hmm. And all I remember is the monster getting a guy and just hearing him scream as this poor guy is being torn apart something, and I'm just running the opposite direction, just praying that I don't get, and I don't remember how the dream ends. All I remember is that last part, just running down this hallway.
My dreams never end.
So I have
to make up the end. Yeah, it's always the middle chunk. There's no beginning. It's just I'm in the middle of something, and I've always been in the middle of this something.
In that regard, Inception was actually very spot on.
Yeah, because the movie's just here we are.
They're just there.
They're just there.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird how we had fairly similar, mansion/hotel, large building that's old and creepy, and there's a mystical dude that lives there.
Yeah.
And it just hunts you down and kills you in really weird manners.
Was that your second one, the actual second one?
No, that was the one you were just talking about it, and I was like, oh wow, that's
close.
That's too close.
So do you want to do your second one?
Yes, I have a story it's very basically like my version of Harry Potter. I know it's really cheap when I say it that way. I guarantee you it's not that one for one. It's not a Harry Potter ripoff, but there's enough.
It was a dream. It came from something.
So, you're right. You're right.
Power poses.
Power poses?
No, so you're doing JoJo.
Those are power poses.
Yeah, you're right.
Their power literally comes from their poses. Why do you think they're called stands? So the second dream, I'm in the shoes of the main character of that magical story, who is named as Jonas Crest. And it's in the middle of this, like, he gets taken from his old world and brought to this new world that he has all these magical rules, and it's really bizarre, and it's strange, but cool. He's trying to learn his powers, he's trying to learn how everything else works, and in the middle of all this, you learn about the Phantoms. The Phantoms are like ghosts, but not dead. Phantoms are these beings that they are living creatures. They're humanoid above the waist, and everything below just kind of wisp out into ethereal stuff. And I learned through this world, essentially in the dream, these phantoms were essentially the slave labor of this world. Because even though they're normal living people, because of these ghost-like properties, they don't need to eat. They can't die from heat, exhaustion, or cold. They can just keep working. Not saying that they can't feel hunger or pain. They just can't die from it. Essentially, in my dream, it started off where there was a big phantom rebellion. I don't think, it's okay, Connor.
I'm the phantom.
They get the picture.
Oh. I'm gonna crop off the top of my body and just have me floating around like in an alleyway or something.
Like in an alleyway. Just picturing Connor, just this ethereal, just, ooh.
Coming for you.
I'm coming for your shoes.
You wanna buy an undulate?
You want to buy undulate? I have too many.
I've got a whole bunch of,
I need to liquidate.
like giraffes in the back.
I need to liquidate. It was a poor investment.
It was a poor investment.
Okay, back on topic. The Phantoms basically had an uprising, so then they were hiring people to hunt down these Phantoms. And then it went from like just a small uprising to my character having to hunt down a couple of Phantoms, realizing how mistreated they were, accidentally starting a war between the normal people and the Phantoms. So this whole thing is called the Phantom Wars.
Oh, those are the old guys.
The old guys.
Phantoms are just a bunch of old guys.
No, that's the Clint Eastwood reboot.
The old guy.
The old guys.
That'd be pretty good.
Do you have any more
So,
ideas?
I got one more dream. This
Go
one
for it.
actually I had a couple nights ago.
Ooh.
So this one's pretty juicy off the. This isn't a press. It's more of a off the lobes.
Off the lobes.
Juicy, fresh off the lobes.
Juicy, fresh off the lobes. Came straight from the wrinkles.
Straight from the wrinkles. So this one was it's similar. Well, I don't know why I have all these things about people in mansions getting killed.
In mirrors?
There's no mirrors.
Do you just have the same dream over and over again?
This one has no mirrors. This one, I was like the main character, and me and a bunch of other people came to this mansion, and there was I actually had a legitimate reason for this one, but I don't remember what it was. But we're all there, and we're just hanging out, and then all of a sudden, like it was a very weird, cryptic reason that we were brought, but it was like a reason that everybody was like, oh, I better be there. And then just one by one, people started disappearing.
The reason was, you know all those socks you've missed for all those years?
Oh yeah,
We got them.
The guy's he's got all the socks.
He's got all your missing socks.
Oh man, you could like totally like it starts off as a goofy comedy about socks, and then what happens is in the dream I turn this corner and there's this like dude, he's like this weird guy in a cape, he's just absorbing somebody and they just turned into a skeleton. Like he absorbed all their essence. So it's like you come here for socks and then like that happens and it's like, what? This is the wrong movie.
It's gotta be like here, like the beginning is goofy,
Yeah.
and then like the other 2/3 are really horrific and like terrifying,
And then the end is goofy.
and then like the last 5 minutes is back to just straight goofy and like almost has nothing to do with all the trauma that the main characters just went through.
And so what we found out was this guy had brought us there. He has like a power similar to Rogue's, where he absorbs people's energy. And he had brought us there basically as food.
Oh.
So like he just set us free in there, and then when he was hungry, he'd just go eat somebody basically. But like absorb them, and then like they'd be like a lifeless husk. And then
Oh, so
as this happened, I was pretty young in the dream. And so at a certain point in the dream, a bunch of military dudes busted in and like broke us out. But when that happened, he also had a bunch of people that were like guards, security guards around the whole place who worked for him. And so like those guys took out the security guards, got us out, but then the guy came out and started absorbing all of them. The coolest part of the whole dream was that towards the end, I realized that guy was my dad, and I had the same power. So I started absorbing all his guards, and then we were about to have a gigantic like absorb punch fight off, and then I woke up.
Man, like, oh man, I'm even seeing this movie like come together in my head. Like it could be like this guy, like he promises, like all he does is he just promises people like the thing that they're looking for the most. And
Oh, yeah,
it just so
and he
happens that
gives
the
it to
goofy
him.
thing is that it's like it's his missing socks.
Yeah,
Like,
so the main character
and
is looking for
then
missing
he
socks.
brings them all these people here, and he tells them, "Oh, before you can, you have to prove yourself worthy," and puts them on these pointless mazes and all these pointless challenges until
that could be.
until he's like, "Oh, I need to feed," and then he's just like, doesn't matter what happened, to be like, "Oh, you're worthy, come on down," and just.
The idea that I'm liking really right now is that I like the idea you said where the guy promises you something. So basically this guy's super wealthy. And so it's like, hey, you guys can come here and live for free in this giant mansion. You know, like basically they think that they're working for him somehow. So like in their own mind, they have a justification for why they're there when they're actually just there to get eaten.
But then there are people who are actually working for him, and their deal is like, you keep working for me, and I just don't suck your essence out.
Yeah, I don't kill you, and maybe I'll give you some money or
And
something.
maybe I'll give you some money, you know? You know, just, hey, as long as you keep, either A, keep people here, or B, keep bringing more people here.
Here's the scariest part of this movie. Is remember how I said that all the movies get sucked into the one universe?
Oh, no.
So here's the universe that all the movies get sucked into.
Here's,
It's a black hole.
even though it's white,
Here's this one. And it's moving.
ever so slow.
It's moving ever so slowly. Every morning I get in the shower, I'm sitting there and I'm like,
Maybe this.
maybe.
Maybe
It hasn't
this.
fit in yet. It has not fit yet. So I'm trying to avoid it. Next week it could very well be part of my universe. It
Perpetual
fits
stew.
really well, like the guy's
Perpetual
power.
stew.
Perpetual stew.
Perpetual
This
stew.
is perpetual stew in action.
This is perpetual stew. It is. It really is. Oh, man.
Well, I think we've pretty much done what we've done today.
But yeah, I mean, we've all had dreams.
We've all had dreams.
And-
And if you hadn't had dreams, I'm sorry.
I mean, depends on the dreams, but yeah, I was just
Fourth
like,
things.
just saying, like we all had dreams that we were like, yeah, like this would be a great book, this would be a great movie,
Yeah,
a great video game.
sometimes dreams are just a coherent story away
For
from making
what?
something great.
Yeah, it's like some small modifications,
Yeah.
and honestly,
Sometimes they write themselves.
okay, real talk though, sometimes the hardest things about writing a story is having the beginning and end be cohesive.
Yeah.
But once you get that, sometimes the middle falls together, and sometimes you're like, how do I get from here to here? And then suddenly you have a dream that's just here, and you're
Yeah.
like, if I just make a beginning and end and just put it together, I got myself a sandwich story,
Sandwich story.
you know? Here's a metaphor for you. Every story is just a sandwich, because the beginning and middle are always the fun, or the middle is always the fun part, but people will always remember the beginning and the end, because dang, bread is delicious.
Dang, really delicious. I think we've talked long enough.
Yeah. Tune in next week where we either A, fulfill my punishment, or B, I run away to avoid capital punishment.
He's working on it.
I mean,
And we didn't do our huh.
oh yeah, I guess we can do a huh at the
One,
end. Two,
three.
Huh! I don't have that much pent up energy.
That's all I got. Now I'm gonna just go pass out.